motivational speaker, businessman and Olympic legend. IBTimes UK has come down to the Bloomberg Square Mile Relay to speak to Michael Johnson.
It's not an easy transition, especially coming from a sport like athletics, where you're an individual athlete working alone, and I'm used to going out there every day, having a lot of control over exactly what my strategy is and kind of how I plan things out and then how I execute, because basically it's just me, obviously with coaches and support. And now, after starting Michael Johnson Performance, and I have a team of, there's 32 of us, and having to coordinate that, everyone's motivated differently, and having to depend on other people, which then also means that I don't control everything. It was quite an adjustment, but also being able to take some of the experience that I have and what I learned from being an elite athlete in a sport where there's a tremendous amount of pressure. You're talking about an Olympics every 4 years, and so how do you prepare? How do you stay motivated? How do you set goals along the way in between for the big opportunity? That experience has been able to take and impart to my team, and kind of teach them how to take that type of approach where there's a tremendous amount of pressure, and now you start to understand the attention to detail and the importance of that. I have a lot of young people that work for us at MJP, and it's a different kind of background. A lot of them have sort of a different approach in many ways, and and there's some good. I learn a lot from them. Not that I'm that much older, but I learn a lot from them. And then there are some things that, even though we have a lot of technology now, there are a lot more distractions, but there's a lot of, social media and that sort of thing. We benefit from that as well. And so being able to kind of, feed the information back and forth between some of our older staff and the younger staff has been a real benefit for us. And so, being on the older end of the spectrum in terms of our staff anyway, it's really the advice that I've been able to give to those young employees that we have is, understanding, kind of how much, at the end of the day, hard work really does count. He's a global superstar, so it really doesn't matter where he is. People recognize him. He's a huge figure in athletics, and one of the few global superstars to come out of athletics in the last 20 or so years. You just don't see that with athletes in that sport. Obviously, with some of the big team sports, football, basketball, and that sort of thing, you see that. But for an Olympic athlete, and certainly an Olympic athlete coming from athletics, it's quite rare. But he's done such amazing things in the sport that, and he has a great personality to go with it, that people know who he is regardless of where he is. No, I don't think so. I think, that the one thing about athletics is there's never been a problem attracting young people to the sport of athletics at the grassroots level. This sport has a bigger problem at the professional level because it is a global sport. It's not like an American football where it's American-centric, or football here where it's, really, the Premier League is the biggest league in the world, and the best athletes play in the Premier League. So young kids here, are able to rise through if they're, there's grassroots level football and all the way up through the professional ranks, just like American football. Athletics, it's not American-centric or Europe-centric, it's all over. And so that causes that sport to then, it starts to fizzle out a little bit in terms of participation at the higher level. But, an athlete like Usain Bolt would not have the ability to pull, wholesale kids away from one sport over to another. It's really hard to say at this point because that's an event that is very, very difficult to maintain consistency in. It is a very difficult race, obviously, to break the world record. And so it would be hard to say at this point. I think that his focus will be on trying to repeat as Olympic gold medalist, which is very difficult to do. Only one person's ever done that before, and that was me, and it's because it's extremely difficult. So I think his focus will be there. I think in terms of world records, it's probably far too early to say, you know, whether or not he'd be able to do that or not, because he's not close. I think he'll continue to get better, and then if he can start to get into the sort of mid 43s and start to consistently run there, then I think we can start to look at maybe a potential world record. But until that time, he's pretty far away at this point.